Tobacco Oud takes a page from previous Tom Ford releases. Notably, we got, of course, there's tobacco in the name. It's going to take a little bit from Tobacco Vanille. Not only that, but of course, it is going to take a little bit from the discontinued, oh, it hurts, Sahara Noir. Happy I got a bottle in my collection. We're going to throw in a little bit of oud wood too. Might as well. The biggest comparison to this fragrance is, of course, the beast of all beasts fragrance review was released in 2018 by yours truly of Amber Absolute. Yes, it is compared to being a lighter version of Amber Absolute. It is amber ladened in the fragrance. Well, where's the tobacco and where's the oud? Well, stay tuned because I will dissect tobacco oud for all of you. What's going on, YouTube fragrance family? Welcome to another Robes 08 fragrance review. This is a special review for me. I love these type of reviews. Words like complex and challenging are tied to this particular fragrance. And as you know, those are two words that some people shy away from. This nose right here absolutely loves the challenge or complex sense. I love that challenge. So bring it on. That's what I feel when looking at a scent like this. So today I'm putting my nose on the House of Tom Ford Private Blend. As you can see the box right here. Let's introduce the scent. Let's bring the bottle. This is Tobacco Oud. Now tobacco and oud, two notes that I absolutely love. They can on their own be very complex notes, very dark notes. And with the sticker as it is and the grayish hue and the name, I'm very excited because I absolutely love, of course, Tom Ford, his darker stuff. So let's get into it. This fragrance hit the shelves back in 2013. Bottle size is what you see here is the smallest bottle, the 1.7 ounce. There's also a 3.4 ounce bottle. And if you want to go a little crazy or you're a splitter, you can have a flacon of this stuff too. Concentrations eau de parfum. To note, there is also, not to be confused with Tobacco Oud Intense. Yes, there's an intense version that was released later on. Do not skip this fragrance and go straight to the intense. Definitely sample first, go check it out and see which one you prefer. Group this is a woody, spicy fragrance. Pricing, I'm going to take away the flacon size, just the 1.7, 3.4 ounce. You're looking at around 200 to 3 something. 225 to 325, I believe, are the pricing now for these Tom Ford Private Blends for this one. So, of course, very, very expensive. The nose behind this one is the nose behind, where's my Tobacco Vanille? Right here. So the nose behind this one, and that gets people excited too, because you're going to put the Parfumier together for both these tobacco-based, and we all know how great Tobacco Vanille is. The nose is Olivier Guillotin. So, of course, it's part of the hype of the fragrance is, of course, it's from Tom Ford. It is from the nose that developed Tobacco Vanille, one, if not the top seller of the Tom Ford brand. So that, obviously, with the two notes, the main notes, tobacco, really gets people excited. Now, before I get into the meat and potatoes of this fragrance review, I want to thank my partner, FragranceX.com. You can utilize my code ROBES08 and get 15% off on this particular fragrance, any Tom Ford Private Blend that's on that website. They got tons of them. And anything else on the website. Go nuts. Use my code ROBES08 to get that 15% off. Now let's take a look at the note breakdown on this fragrance. In the opening, we have coriander and whiskey. In the mid, we got cistus, cinnamon, oud, and tobacco. And in the base, we have tonka bean, castoreum, sandalwood, and vanilla, cedar, patchouli, and incense. So there's a lot of different note breakdowns online, so I stole some of the things that are, the more popular ones or the ones that I can smell in this fragrance. The ones that really do stand out to me, of course, castoreum, whiskey, oud, tobacco, tonka bean. This sounds really, really good. Incense even. Man, that note breakdown, sexy as hell. Now, the major notes of this nose right here. What do I get from this fragrance? The big notes, Cistus. This thing is all over the footprints, all over this fragrance. The tobacco is going to be your central theme. And of course, a little whiff of oud here to end this fragrance. Now it's part of the review where I dissect this thing from top to bottom. You guys ready? Okay, I'm ready. How many sprays and where? I go my staple, 1 on the chest, of course, 2 on the neck, and 2 on the arms. I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt, so I'm gonna go inner elbows. Usually the shirt is covering them, so it doesn't matter. I go a little off the the shirt. And of course I'm going to do one spray on the back of my hand. This stuff's pretty potent off the top. I've already sprayed quite a bit already. This little room is engulfed with tobacco oud. And this scent, before I even dissect this thing, this scent has levels to it. And I absolutely love scents that like these, that when you read or watch a fragrance review, people get different things from a particular fragrance. That's complexity, folks. And I absolutely love that. Now, that being said, let me give you my 2 cents. What do I get? And she's warm, dark, flavorful, tobacco, dry. The color dark orange comes to mind, dark brown. Woods, absolutely complex and beautiful. Resinous, of course, syrupy. Off the bat, tobacco oud brings the thunder as a dark scent. You're not going to be disappointed if you're a fan of amber, woods, oud, tobacco. It really brings a lot of this to the table. It has a syrupy amber. That's where it starts. It's ashy. It has some ashy qualities to it. It brings tobacco to the table, some herbs, some fruity nuances, some wood, some sweetness, some animalic touches all rolled together. Really a complex scent, of course. Trying to put this puzzle together is going to be very interesting for me. Now, the first note that hits my nose when I first apply this fragrance, the thing that hits my nose, of course, like everybody else or most people out there, Amber Absolute comes to mind. Yes, it does. Now, that's short-lived in tobacco oud. You got to give it time. You know, you can't just review it on the first 5 minutes alone. It is not Amber Absolute Junior. Yes, there is very much resins. There is an ambery feel to the fragrance, and it is throughout the fragrance, but that is not your big piece of the fragrance. It is, but it's not. So it does remind me of Amber Absolute. Now, the first note that hits me is the Cistus. And what that is, you're like, what? Sista, what? Cistus, yes. No, not tobacco. No, not oud. What about them? Yeah, they're going to come in a little later. But the Cistus is the one that hits my nose right away. It takes center stage in tobacco oud. And this is where tobacco oud gets compared to Amber Absolute because the Cistus is very ambery. It's very vanillic. It has woody tones. It's got leathery tones. It has even spicy tobacco nuances. Cistus is very warm, woody, spicy, herbal. It has a sweet, ripe fruit feel to its scent profile. And I'm going to get to that later because there is some fruity nuances in here. It also has chamomile-like qualities. It also has a nice little trick to it. It gives the scent profile a resinous, animalic, and cold smoke effect. So Cistus, of course, is very interesting as a note. It is a fruity, it's a fruity version of labdanum. Of course, Cistus Absolute, if you've ever smelt it, starts off very animalic yet vanillic with a hint of fruit, and later on kind of almost gives you a cognac-like oak wood warm qualities, and you're gonna get boatload of that in this particular fragrance. Now you're probably like, whoa, damn, that Cistus note's pretty interesting. Yeah, it is a lot to digest for one note. It has a lot of aspects to the note. I'm gonna deem it the X factor in tobacco oud and requires a huge spotlight in my fragrance review. It gives most of the very interesting nuances to tobacco oud and its different levels. And you're gonna see a lot of these notes come from the Cistus, the whiskey, and many others. Vanillic aspects, of course, the fruity aspects, the smoky aspect of this fragrance. It gives this fragrance a lot of darkness to tobacco oud, and that's what I absolutely love. Now, tobacco oud, let's go back. Let's step back again. This thing has dried off. Let's do a double dip here. And tobacco oud, yes, it starts with that ambery sweetness. It does. It's dark, it's resinous, it's syrupy. It's just the way I like it, like Amber Absolute. I give it a huge standing ovation for that first 5 minutes because that's what I absolutely love. And you could think, oh, in the first 5 minutes, where's the tobacco and where's the oud? Because there isn't any right now. Right now, there isn't. What happens is it takes a huge right turn. And when it takes that huge right turn, it goes into Tobacco Valley and does not look back. Tobacco oud is a tobacco-based fragrance. Yes, the spotlight is all over that tobacco, and rightfully so, because it's in the damn name of the fragrance. Tobacco will be your central theme in tobacco oud. To me, the tobacco in this fragrance is a natural Dry, very dry as a fragrance. Dry pipe tobacco with a fruit flavored dip. That is thanks to the Cistus because it gives a fruity appeal to the fragrance. I'm going to go back to that because people smell whiskey in this fragrance, the fruity aspects. It all comes together as a puzzle. The tobacco note in TO's top-notch quality, and with the aid of the Cistus, which also gives it an herbal take to the fragrance, and of course that fruity take with, of course, tobacco leaves. This is met with an ashy ashtray, thus kind of giving me this imagery of, let's go to a smoking room. You know, I have some friends of mine that have smoking rooms in their homes, and you know, you go smoke a few cigars, you get out of the smoking room, you know, you got the ashes in the ashtray and all that, and then you come back into the smoking room to smoke another one. So now you have the imagery of ashes, burnt ends of the old cigars that you smoked, and now someone's passing fresh cigars to everybody to go for the second round of smoking. That is what I get from that. It has a mishmash of both, you know, ashy, burnt cigars and the ash in the ashtray, and the fresh tobacco too. It really brings you to that imagery. Not only that, but that whiskey feel to the fragrance, also that alcoholic also comes into play with that whole imagery, of course. Now the cold smoke effect from the Cistus, that's interesting. It's not messed, of course, with my nose. It runs in and out of tobacco ouds, intro to even to the heart of the fragrance. And of course, it reminds a lot of people of the beautiful discontinued incense-based fragrance from Tom Ford, Sahara Noir. It really has that smoky flavor to the fragrance. The Cistus does its thing in here. And it is a cold, wispy, incense, smoky-like feel to the fragrance. Now, if I was tobacco oud, I would take that as a compliment. You just stole from Amber Absolute, you stole some tobacco from Tobacco Vanille, and now you stole some smoky aspects from Sahara Noir. Those are three great fragrances from the house of Tom Ford, so nicely done. Now coming back to the Cistus brings a boozy quality in this introduction to the heart of tobacco oud. Of course, whiskey is supplied as the note in the breakdown, but I'll go with the cognac and oak wood imagery or description of Cistus. Either way, there's a spicy-like quality to this particular fragrance. There's a syrupy concoction here in tobacco oud that reminds me of the idea of hard, dark-colored liquor. I can go on and on about the differences and the nuances of tobacco oud from the intro to the heart of this fragrance, but these are the major factors that I get, which shows many layers of tobacco oud. One thing to note, it's a challenging opening. It's not for everybody, and my nose truly appreciates how I'm getting so many nuances from this fragrance just in the first few hours. Very interesting from tobacco oud. Now let's go more deeper into the dry down of this fragrance. As you have seen in this fragrance review, I didn't mention oud at all yet. I have not, and for good reason. The oud is faint and very much westernized in tobacco oud. It reminds me of Tom Ford's use of it in M7 and recently with oud wood, but take it down a few notches even then. It has some woody nuances, but truly isn't a showstopper in tobacco oud, as the tobacco itself overshadows it even during the dry down of this fragrance. The scent starts showing more of a vanilla warmth to the fragrance, more into the dry down with some ambery resinous nuances that surround that tobacco note. There's more woods here with, of course, some sandalwood, giving it some smoothness. The Cistus continues to throw its familiar characteristics. There's also a slight powdery feel to tobacco oud, more into the heart, but with all the stronger notes in this fragrance, you will hardly notice it. It's only a piece of this whole puzzle. Now the coumarin in this fragrance, gives it its stamp in the scent, giving its familiar almond, vanilla, hay, and sweet honey aspects, as you'll see many of these facets more into the heart and dry down of tobacco oud. Castoreum is listed, but I never truly felt a strong animalic quality here. Perhaps a smidge of it, but nothing too daring. There's never a boring aspect of tobacco oud, and I felt it's a complex, well-balanced scent that truly shows what Tom Ford can accomplish with his darker scents. Overall, with tobacco oud, there's two consumers here. There's the tobacco ones and the oud-based ones. The oud-based ones, if you're looking for an oud, this may not be what you're looking for. I'll be quite honest with you. Now, tobacco. This tippy-toes more into your alley. It is a tobacco-based scent. And also, if you love amber-based scents, you are going to like this. It really tippy-toes more into, it reminds me not as a scent profile, but as a build of a Sonoma Scent Studios, and this is an indie house, Taba Oria. And this, of course, really is reminding me of that particular fragrance from Sonoma Scent Studio. And it tries to push the envelope. Tobacco Oud, as named earlier, pulls from many other Tom Ford fragrances like Amber Absolute, Tobacco Vanille, Sahara Noir, among others. This is more about the tobacco than the oud. The oud is more of a flavoring to the scent than its main aspect. This fragrance is built just like some of their top sellers, namely Tuscan Leather and Tobacco Vanille. Let's use those, as they both utilize a central theme, and so does Tobacco Oud, with many secondary notes giving it layers, but keeping the central theme moving throughout the scent. And that's what I feel with Tobacco Oud, is that the tobacco is your central theme. Yeah, the introduction is ambery as hell. It is, but look, it's a little nugget. Tobacco all the way through, and then you got different nuances with the Cistus and many other secondary notes. So very, very interesting that it builds the same way as a lot of Tom Ford top sellers. They're fairly linear as scents. As you can see, this thing, I just gave it a little nugget, and it's more like it stays like this. But you do go on an interesting journey with this fragrance, especially in the first hour. There's so many different nuances. Then it's more smooth riding throughout the remaining hours. Tobacco Oud gets a lot of hate, and some of it may be warranted. You know, it steals a lot from Amber Absolute, steals a lot from other Tom Fords. So if you own a lot of Tom Fords and you are on a budget, you're not a collector like I am, you're gonna be like, oh, this smells a little bit like this and like this and like that. It's kind of built the same way. It's not something that I'm gonna be wearing because I prefer Tobacco Vanille insert Tom Ford Private Blend fragrance. So, but personally, I feel it's very Tom Ford-esque. And I appreciate that because it's at his best. It shines, and it's what I expect from the brand. And yes, it pulls a lot from other Tom Ford fragrances, but really it's no secret. And I really feel like it's an excellent, excellent release from the brand. Recommended age, this is a little more mature. I'm gonna go 25 and up. Best time to wear this. This is a definite evening wear, nighttime scent. Seasons, this is for the cooler weather, your fall, your winters, spring nights maybe. Development, this is very much complex. It has a linear feel to the fragrance, but there's some complexity to the fragrance. Work appropriate, I really can't see it. Signature scent worthy, that I can see, depending, of course, on your work situation. You work at home, or all depending. If you're the boss, then the boss is wearing some pretty bossy stuff. So it can be signature scent worthy. Now let's get into my rating system, where a lot of fragrance come to die. This one did well. So let's take a look at projection and longevity. Scores a little low here. Projection, 5 bottles out of 10. It doesn't push as I would like for dark scent. A little above average, but it dropped off quite quickly on my skin. Longevity, 7 bottles out of 10. Good, but not great. It gives me, give or take, 5 to 8 hours any given wearing. Compliment factor, not a great score here. 6 bottles out of 10. It is definitely one of those give or take fragrances, man. Either you hate it or you love it. It really isn't. There's no middle ground with this fragrance. More into the dry down. Unfortunately, it doesn't push that much more into the dry down, but more into the dry down, it does get favorable comments. Uniqueness, 7 bottles out of 10. Again, it loses points because it's not unique in the whole scheme of things in the Tom Ford Private Blend lineup. It pulls a lot from a lot of the best sellers. Pricing versus what you get. Tom Ford Private Blend pricing, it's no joke. It is very pricey stuff. I'm gonna give it an 8 because you are getting what you pay for. I think it's one of the more solid Tom Ford Private Blends on the market. Versatility, 7 bottles out of 10. It is fairly versatile once it gets cool. That's it. Don't try to wear this in the middle of summer. Smell, 9 bottles out of 10. This is where this shines. I truly love the scent from the first minute right till it ends. One of those private blends that is just right up my alley. And that goes to an overall score. Tom Ford's Tobacco Oud gets 9 bottles out of 10. As a whole, this fragrance has it all, in my opinion, especially for someone that loves ambery fragrances, loves oud-based fragrances. You like smoke, you like all those challenging notes, tobacco. it's all in here in different nuances, but it really is a good blend. It works well on my skin, and it really is one of those Tom Ford private blends that I feel should be a little more appreciated. And a 9, I feel, is a very solid score for this fragrance. And that goes to buy, try, or pass. And it all depends on you, of course. But for me, would I buy this again? Absolutely. Does it pull from a lot of my Tom Ford private blends? Absolutely. But it's a buy. It is. I have been I've been catching myself going for Tobacco Vanille or Amber Absolute. Amber Absolute's a different thing because it's discontinued. So I'm kind of, as far as wearability, I'm kind of scared. Am I going to wear it? I don't want to run out. This fragrance kind of goes in that realm. And I've caught myself taking this instead of those classics. So that is a very good sign for this fragrance. This is a worthy buy from the house of Tom Ford. So this is a lengthy fragrance review. I want to thank everybody that has tuned in for the whole spectrum of things. Comment below if you've watched the whole thing. And again, of course, put your comments below what you like about this fragrance. Good, bad, and the ugly. I'd love to hear, why do you hate this fragrance? Why you dislike this fragrance, or why you love this fragrance? Why you bought a bottle, or why you're not buying a bottle? I'd love to hear your take, of course, on Tobacco Oud from the house of Tom Ford. And of course, what about Tom Ford's Tobacco Oud Intense? What do you guys think about that? And remember, great or poor fragrance will make a lasting impression. Choose your scent wisely. Thanks for watching.